Owen Welling here with another Wealth Creation Minute. We're kind of continuing the interview we had here before. We're talking about risky ventures. What makes something risky? What is our perception? What are all the factors that goes into there? How can we see it, understand it, and what can we do to mitigate it? So, and my partner here, I had that question earlier. We see these big risky deals. When you look at something, where do you typically see the biggest risks for you?
The biggest risks for me when I look at something, the market itself and the cash flow. Just knowing when I will be profitable, and always, I think if you go in with an exit strategy, it's going to be something of great importance, because you're going to know how you're going to, if something goes bad, you have a plan already, instead of when there's something wrong, you're not going to know what to do, and it's just going to be worse, and you're going to get in the hole deeper.
Do you make any differentiation between, say, what your exit strategy is and what your holding strategy is? Well, let me give you an example. Like, say for an exit, buy a property, rehab, sell. Okay? But even though it's a short term, maybe I'm in it for 3 months or so, I still have to understand that it's going to cost me some money to hold it. Some lenders want payments every month, right? And some lenders just want one payment at the end because they want to collect interest on it all. And I think that's when you start to look at it in that kind of spectrum of, okay, you look at a job, there's basically no holding requirements. It doesn't cost you very much capital up front to get and keep the job. It costs you very little capital overhead to keep it, but it's making you cash flow. But the exit strategy, well, you don't get anything from it. You're just gone. If you're a high-level CEO, you might have a severance package or something. But for most of us that have a job or even a career, when we go from one project to the other, there is no exit strategy. It's more of a holding strategy, because we're getting that steady income, even though it's a trade of time for money. Whereas, okay, turn around and look at the other side of the balance sheet as the employer. Now, they have an exit strategy for their company eventually, but they have to have that holding strategy, which is their company financial statement, their marketing plan, all these systems that go together.
Yes, my holding strategy, it's based off of my business plan. I have it's on paper and what's going on in real life. It's different, but it gives me an idea of how long I think I will be holding something, how much income I'm generating, how much cash I have at hand in case I'm not generating anything. And they say the business is not successful in 3 to 4 or 5 years, but if I don't have any other income coming in, I need to know if a year's, that's how long I'm going to hold it, or 2 years, or typically, I like to make a business plan and know all my resources, or where I can get additional resources in case I need to pump more money into it.
Okay, now I've got a question here, just in reference to your business. Say you run off your business plan, and you like to have it written, because obviously if something is in writing, it doesn't really exist, and we're not really feeling committed to it. The question is, should we be revisiting that business plan and seeing that all of our assumptions are aligned with the market?
If you're not doing this, you're not running a real business. You have to be able to go where the market takes you. A business plan is there. It's an outline, really, and you can change that outline and tweak it. I think your purpose doesn't have to change, but you do have to be able to work with the market.
Okay. So, how often, and I guess that's really the question, is how would one know that you've got it right, that obviously we can't spend all our time in the business tweaking our plan and doing research, but then again, if we don't spend some time, then some opportunities are going to be missed. How would you know when it's time to revamp your business plan, or when it's time to tweak it? I mean, do we look for troughs? Do we look for peaks? What kind of clues are we taking?
Well, in my business, I look at my competition. I look at my cash flow projection, and once with the type of business I do, it's very competitive, and so I always have to be able to be ahead of the competition, or have some type of niche. And if I don't have that niche any longer, I need to go find another type of niche.
So
so I can be ahead.
with intense competition like that, I would think the risk would be pretty high.
It is pretty high, but you're also, if you have a special niche, you're able to generate more income and have more steady cash flow than others who are more generalized and are more competing with one another.
So does the niche help you mitigate the risk?
It does. It helps me lessen my risk because when I get to that niche, I'm one of the few people who are there. And then once people follow the money, and once they know that I'm making money, people want to come into the same thing I am.
Okay.
And so I just changed my strategy.
So the question is the niche less risky because there are less people, or is it less risky because of your knowledge of how to operate in it?
It's less risky because of my knowledge on how to operate in it, because at any time, anyone can come into it.
Okay, so the amount of people in that certain space of wherever you're operating doesn't really have much to do with the risk. That's just your general price level on demand. But it's the knowledge that you have of certain ways to operate that mitigates your risk.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, I'm Owen Welling. This is your Wealth Creation Minute, and we are Investor Resource Solutions. We find ways to help your money grow.